Hey Rangers, today we're going to be looking at Starlord from the Avengers Infinity War. And first of all, why did they have to make this box so small? I generally think that when they make these ones, these figures like, oh, we have no reason or we don't know what to do with it. So I kind of generally get kind of gutted because I really wish they came with more accessories. So we know it's not going to come with much. Same thing as they did with Black Panther as well as Black Widow. But let's have a look. First of all, we have this really nice window display. Again, we have the text that says Starlord, his symbol. Then also we have a lovely picture of Starlord himself. On the side we have the guns and it says Starlord. On the back, generally not that many good poses. Again, Starlord the figure, the Avengers, and again you got that one there. And you got his hand with a blaster and it says Starlord. At the top, nothing. At the bottom, just a lovely picture of Starlord, and that's pretty much. So let's open this bad boy and have a look inside. So you really don't get much with them, and I find this very disheartening because, again, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Black Panther, they all would have had amazing stuff, but yeah. So basically, we have his head where he's got his mask on, the figure itself, the different hands, and his blasters, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of disappointing. I don't know if the other one, like if they did the other version of Starlord was exactly like this. But let me know down below in the comments if it is. So let's crack him open and have a look. So here is Starlord. This is what he looks like. I've got to admit, the figure does look a lot like him, which I generally like. And it's a very good kind of like sculpt on him. So I really like the fact that you've got his face, well obviously, but you can see like the kind of stubble around it. Obviously it kind of reminds me a little bit like Tony Stark. Again, like you can see the kind of ridges where his eyebrows are. And his hair looks really, really cool. I really like his jacket. The jacket looks kind of like spot on. Even like the tiny details on his lapel or something. Or basically like the kind of top part of the jacket. Now, I really wish that it looks like down here could be in the zipper. So if that was silver, it would have looked spot on. But I really like the indentations here. And then obviously the kind of like the way that the jacket is. So it's not just like a normal red. It actually looks faded. It looks kind of weathered. And this is what I really like. One thing you probably can't see is the fact that his eyes are green. And I had to zoom right in when focusing on him. And I thought that was kind of cool. So when we move his, like, you can see just here on the side, I really like the sort of detail that's going on. You got the kind of indentations there, as well as there, and it really looks like they've spent time working on this figure, or possibly it's the same one that they released a while ago and they just made more. As we come down to the lower part, I kind of really like the fact that you got little buttons there. It kind of really adds to the figure, and also kind of, I don't know if it's meant to be weathered, but it looks like on his belt that there's not that much paint there, but it looks like it's chipped off. But I don't know if this is actually in the film, if it's meant to be like this. We can see you've got his pockets here and here, and obviously two little buttons right there that kind of like stand out quite a bit, which I generally really like. Coming down to the bottom part, I really like the way that they've detailed his legs, or the lower part base where his calves are. I really like the buckles that go across, and obviously I wouldn't notice this. I thought he would have been wearing like just normal trousers, but I really like the browns, and I really like the kind of dark browns on this one. It really works really, really well. On his shoes, if you can see, you have a kind of more ridges, and again, where all Figuarts are, you can poke the boots up. So if we move them to the side, we can see that there's a little bit here, and a little bit there. Like color-wise, like it really, really works well. On the back here, we see that there's a little bit kind of detail, not by much. It's like the dark brown's kind of faded in and you can't really see. We've got these massive like joints here, which I've never seen them that big on any of the Figuarts that I've reviewed. But it's kind of weird. I don't know. It just reminds me of like Maltesers or something. Now, coming to the back of the actual outfit, I really like this. I think this is like kind of cool. Let's move it out there. I also really like the fact that the jacket kind of really like blends in quite well here. On here, for some strange reason, it feels like you can see veins. So I'm guessing in the t-shirt it's not much, but it just looks kind of weird that they've put it on there. So I don't know if it's meant to be some sort of kind of like creases like in leather. But you can see just there as well that you've got some like more detail to it. I don't know what they're called, but they look like the flexible parts of a jacket. Even on his arms, you can see that there's actually more detail they've put in there. Now, when we come to the back of the jacket, this is what I really like. I like this detail a lot on the figure. I like the fact that it's raised. I don't know if it's meant to be like that in the film, but it actually works really, really well. When you run your finger over it, you can definitely feel it. It's not just like a soft plastic, but you can feel its texture. And speaking of texture, when we look at his hair, I really like the kind of goldy blondiness in it. It kind of really makes the figure pop when it comes to the back of his head. On the side, there's not really much any detail. It would have been kind of cool if he had like his symbol on the actual jacket. I think that would have worked really, really well. So as always, we look at the stress test of the figure. Now, like Doctor Strange, I'm hoping his foot doesn't come off. So his boot here is actually a lot more flexible than Doctor Strange. So you can move it around. Yeah, you can turn it around. It's really, really cool. Like so. Like that. His knees bend. It feels kind of weird, I think. Like, instantly his crotch just comes straight to the camera. So you can move his legs around. Like so. Moves it all the way around on a joint. No, a ball joint, shall I say. Now, it looks like, obviously, it looks like he can bend forward and back. So his arm goes all the way around and it bends. His hand can turn around too. Like so. Feels like it's going to pop out like that. And then his head moves all the way around. Let's say like that. Just like so, it moves up and down. Also, I don't know if you can see, because for some strange reason the light seems getting really dark on things. You've got detail on his t-shirt. When you pull his jacket apart, it feels like you could have taken it off. I really wish you could have. I think that would have been cool. But we can see that there is definitely some detail on there, like a symbol. I kind of really like the t-shirt, to be honest. I think that looks kind of really cool. So there isn't really much that you can do with him. Let's take his head off. Like I genuinely wanted more faces. So this is when he's got his, like, I'd say his kind of battle armor on. Kind of makes him look like a robot. I like the attention to detail in the eyes. They really stand out quite menacing. Also, the way that his helmet goes all the way around. Now, I don't know why it doesn't go across his hair. But obviously, it just goes right around him. I really like the gold attention to detail and the kind of like sparkle you can see. That it's like glitter. But also like the kind of tubes on his helmet as well. Especially like this kind of like his breathing apparatus. And then on that side, when we look at the back, you can see that there's gold. And that really kind of focuses and really makes the kind of the head kind of pop. I think if I was to leave this on, I think this would be the head that I leave it on, because I just think it looks really, really cool. I love the way that they've put the detail just at the bottom here as well, and I think it looks really decent, to be honest. When looking at Star-Lord's guns, I generally thought that they would add more to the figure, and they kind of do and they kind of don't. Now, I really like the way that they are. I think they look absolutely stunning. And they do kind of give the character a little bit more than normal. But to be fair, the amount of accessories and the amount of stuff that you get with Star-Lord, I generally don't think that it's worth it. And I don't think it kind of really saves it. So obviously you can pose it in any sort of way you want to actually kind of get that action scene going. But I generally kind of think that he should have come with a little bit more. But the guns do look kind of cool. And yeah, they're not bad. They look good. That's all I can say. But I really like small attention to detail that I've just noticed there. Like the two, like just here, like kind of like engravements there. And especially the way that the gun is designed. Now, this is something that I would probably have if I was go out in space, because I generally just really like the look of them. These are quite awesome weapons, and I might actually pick up the Nerf versions of them or something and just customize them myself. And there you go. There is Star-Lord. And now I have to say that I'm not a huge fan of this figure. Maybe because he looks a bit off. The price of how much he is, at the time of this recording, I think I paid £40 to £50 for him. I don't think that he's worth that much. Maybe 25 to 35, definitely. The amount of stuff that you get with him, I'm not a big fan of. The guns are fine, and the head is fine, but you think that he may come with a few other things, like maybe a cassette radio, maybe some extra hands, something that is just different. I don't know if you got more in his original release or if this is just literally a different packaging and the same figure. The face looks absolutely fine. I would have liked, I think, more smiling or laughing or angry faces. That's what I would have wanted from this figure, but it just feels like you've got a default, here's his face, there's no kind of expression in it, and that really kind of irks me. Also, I've noticed that his neck and the rest of his body, as in like his skin, is completely different shades of pink or whatnot, and this is one thing that kind of puts me off the figure as well. You kind of think they'd make it all one color rather than just different shades, and that really puts me off the figure as well. So if you're picking them up for your collection of the Infinity War, by all means collect them. You know that they're going to do the rest of the figures in one go rather than it just being one or the other. So I'm kind of looking forward to picking up like Drax, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, and Mantis. I think her name's Mantis. So I'm really kind of looking forward to that, to actually have an entire team, and I'm kind of excited about that. But if I was just picking him up for, oh, I like the character, I would possibly just not. Just the amount of stuff that you don't get with him, and yeah, it kind of makes me think, why didn't they put anything else there? But apart from that, it's an okay figure, not the best, but obviously we'll see more out over time. So Rangers, your question of the day is, would you pick up this character, yes or no, or would you leave it? Is Starlord one of your favourite characters? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you've liked this video, like, favourite, comment, and consider subscribing. Check out all the other videos on the channel. If you want to help out the channel on Patreon, link is in the description down below. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.